What if I told you that the next few minutes could grant you an all access, backstage pass into the private, coded language of women? Most men spend their entire lives guessing, trying to decipher mixed signals like they're solving a puzzle that has no solution. They end up exhausted, drained, and eventually broken because they didn't know how to read between the lines. I'm talking about the specific, calculated phrases that should act as a physical barrier, making every high value man stop dead in his tracks, turn around, and walk away without looking back. This isn't just dating advice, it is a survival guide for your peace of mind. Learning these hidden meanings right now will save you a lifetime of gut wrenching frustration, thousands of hours of wasted energy, and the kind of deep seated heartbreak that leaves permanent scars on your soul. You need to stay with me and lock in because I am breaking down 7 things a woman will say that most men dismiss as normal or moody. Let's be clear, these aren't just casual, offhand comments or things said in the heat of the moment. These are red flags so massive and so bright they should be blocking out the sun. The problem is that when you first meet someone, you are chemically wired to fail. You get blinded by a captivating smile, a magnetic vibe, or the way she looks at you across a dinner table. That initial excitement creates a reality distortion field that makes you overlook the very warnings that are screaming for your attention. The cold, hard truth is that women often reveal their entire psychological blueprint and their true intentions through small, seemingly insignificant passing remarks. They tell you exactly who they are and how they are going to treat you within the first few conversations, but they do it in a way that sounds harmless if you aren't listening with a trained ear. If you aren't paying razor sharp attention to the subtext, you will miss the signal every single time. And by the time the rose-colored glasses finally fall off and you realize what those words actually meant, it is usually far too late. Think about the cost of missing these signs. By the time the truth hits you, you've already poured months or even years of your life into the relationship. You've invested your deepest emotions, your hard-earned resources, and your most valuable asset, your time, into a woman who showed you she didn't deserve any of it from day one. You are essentially watching the trailer for a movie. These 7 phrases are the highlights of the drama, the chaos, and the disappointment that is coming your way. I am here to tell you that if you don't like what you see in the trailer, you have no business buying a ticket to the show. Don't wait until the credits roll on a failed relationship to realize you should have walked out during the opening scene. 1. I don't need a man. This is, without question, the loudest and most aggressive red flag in the entire playbook of modern dating. On the surface, it's often disguised as a badge of honor or a sign of modern independence, something you might even think is admirable or attractive at first. You see a woman who has her own career, her own car, and her own life, and you think she's just showing strength. But you need to look closer and listen to the subtext. When a woman looks you in the eye and says, "I don't need a man," she isn't talking about her bank account, her ability to change a light bulb, or her career success. She is sending a calculated signal about your worth in her world. She is telling you, in no uncertain terms, that you are optional. She is broadcasting that you are fundamentally replaceable and that your presence, your protection, and your masculine contribution don't actually move the needle for her. A healthy relationship is built on the foundation of mutual need and partnership, not a constant power struggle for dominance. When someone tells you they don't need you, they are removing the ship from the partnership. This phrase is a psychological shield and a blatant power play designed to keep you off balance and make you feel like a disposable accessory rather than a valued partner. It's a way of saying, "You're here on my terms, and I can toss you aside the moment you become inconvenient." Most men fall into a deadly trap the second they hear this. They hear a challenge. They think, "I'll show her. I'll be the one man she actually does need. I'll work harder, provide more, and be so incredible that she changes her mind." Stop right there. That is a losing game from the very first move. The moment you start auditioning for a woman who has already told you that you aren't necessary, you have officially handed over your power. You are now a beggar at the door of her validation, working overtime to prove your value to someone who has already devalued you to your face. It is an exhausting, uphill battle that ends in resentment and burnout every single time. A woman who truly respects men and understands the beauty of a high-value connection will never feel the need to weaponize her independence to make you feel small. She can be successful and capable while still acknowledging and appreciating the unique role a man plays in her life. If she tells you she doesn't need you, don't try to argue, don't try to fix her mindset, and definitely don't try to prove her wrong. Take her at her word. Realize that there is no room for a king in a kingdom where the queen thinks she's the only one who matters, and leave. 2. My ex was better. If I don't need a man is a power play, then my ex was better is a direct, targeted strike against your value as a man. It is a fundamental insult that should trigger an immediate exit strategy. No man alive wants to hear those words, yet an alarming number of guys stay in the relationship, trying to compete with the shadow of the past. The second she uses her ex as a measuring stick, the dynamic of your relationship is permanently fractured. You are no longer building something unique with her. You are now in a three-way competition with a ghost. You are fighting for the attention of a woman whose heart and mind are still anchored to a man who isn't even in the room anymore. If she is bringing him up to compare you negatively, it is the clearest sign possible that she hasn't moved on, hasn't healed, and is still emotionally tied to her history. A real relationship is about two people looking forward, focusing on the present, and building a shared future. It is not about her looking over her shoulder at a previous chapter. When she makes these comparisons, she is showing a complete and total lack of respect for you. She is effectively saying that you are a plan B or a consolation prize compared to the standard her ex set. Some men think they can outdo the ex. They think if they take her to better dinners, give her more attention, or act better than the guy before, she'll finally see them as the winner. But here is the harsh reality. You cannot win a fight against a memory. In her mind, the ex's flaws have likely faded, and only the better parts remain. You are competing against a fictionalized version of a person, and that is a race you will lose every time. A woman who truly values you and respects what you bring to the table would never dream of undermining your confidence by comparing you to a previous flame. She understands that your value is independent of anyone she's dated before. If the ex was truly so much better, the logical question is, why isn't she still with him? Since she isn't, she is likely using his memory to manipulate you or to vent her own unresolved issues. Don't let her make his shadow your problem. Don't let her turn your relationship into a performance where you're constantly being graded against a ghost. Don't argue. Don't get angry or defensive, because that just shows her that her comparison worked. Simply realize that you deserve to be with someone who sees you as the gold standard, not a runner-up. Pick up your dignity, turn around, and walk away. 3. You're too good for me. When a woman looks you in the eye and tells you that you're too good for her, your natural instinct is to smile, feel a surge of ego, and take it as the ultimate compliment. You think she's finally recognized your value, your kindness, and the effort you pour into the relationship. But you need to wake up and realize that this isn't a compliment. It is a cold, calculated confession. She isn't praising your character. She is giving you a formal warning that she has absolutely no intention of matching your energy or your effort. She sees you giving 100%, showing up with consistency, and treating her with respect, and she already knows deep down that she's only prepared to give you 40% in return. Instead of being inspired by your high standards and stepping up to meet you at your level, she is intentionally lowering your expectations. She's planting a seed in your mind so that when she eventually lets you down, disappears, or treats you poorly, she can turn around and say, "I told you I wasn't good enough for you." This phrase is her way of pre-installing an exit door in the relationship. It's a psychological tactic used to soften the blow of her future bad behavior. By putting you on a pedestal, she creates a dynamic where she is the flawed one who just can't help her mistakes, while you are the saint who should have known better than to date her. If she truly, deeply believed that you deserved better than what she was offering, and if she actually valued you, she wouldn't push you away. She would strive every single day to be better. She would work on her flaws, show up more consistently, and fight to keep a man of your caliber. People don't just walk away from things they find too good unless they've already decided they don't want to do the work required to keep them. The biggest mistake you can make here is trying to fix her or reassure her of her worth. You'll find yourself saying things like, "No, baby, you're amazing, you're perfect for me," and you'll spend your time and energy trying to build up her self esteem. Stop right there. You cannot convince another human being of their own value, and it is not your job to play therapist. When she tells you who she is, believe her the first time. She is telling you plainly that she is not ready, willing, or able to be your equal. A relationship between unequals is not a partnership, it's a project. And as a high value man, you don't need a project. You need a partner who sees your worth and meets it with her own. For I'm not ready for a relationship. This is perhaps the most common trap men fall into, and it's because they insist on translating English into a language that protects their feelings. When she says, "I'm not ready for a relationship," your brain tries to tell you, she just needs more time, or she's been hurt in the past and needs me to be patient. Stop the translation. What she is actually saying with 100% certainty is, "I'm not ready for a relationship with you." It is never about the timing, the stars, her career, or her past trauma. It is entirely about her level of interest. We have all seen it happen. A woman will tell a guy she isn't ready for months, then meet a man who truly sweeps her off her feet, and she'll be engaged to him 3 months later. Why? Because when the attraction is high enough, she doesn't care if the timing is wrong. She takes the risk because the thought of losing that man is far more terrifying than the thought of commitment. If she tells you she isn't ready for a commitment, but she still expects you to answer her late night texts, take her out on dates, listen to her problems, and provide her with physical and emotional comfort, you need to realize what you've become. You aren't a boyfriend in training, you're a placeholder. You are the guy she uses to fill the void, kill the boredom, and provide the boyfriend experience without her having to give you any of the boyfriend loyalty. You are keeping the seat warm until the man she is actually ready for walks into the room. The moment he shows up, you will be discarded without a second thought because she already told you from the start she wasn't ready. Don't spend your life sitting in a waiting room hoping your number gets called. Your time is the most valuable resource you have, and wasting it on a woman who hesitates to claim you is a direct insult to your own self-respect. A woman who sees your value and truly wants you in her life will not risk leaving the door open for someone else to take your place. She will want to lock it down. She will want the world to know you are hers. If she is giving you excuses instead of exclusivity, she is telling you that she's keeping her options open. Don't negotiate, don't wait for a better time, and don't try to convince her of how great a relationship with you would be. If she hesitates, that is your cue to move on and find a woman who is ready to go all in from day one. 5. I still need to find myself on the surface. This phrase sounds incredibly deep, spiritual, and even noble. It paints a picture of a woman on a journey of self-discovery, perhaps healing from the past or trying to figure out her soul's purpose. But you need to strip away the poetic language and look at the reality of the situation. When a woman tells you she needs to find herself, what she is actually doing is placing you on an indefinite standby. If a woman truly views you as her long-term partner and the man of her dreams, she doesn't see finding herself and being with you as two separate things. She would want you by her side as a pillar of support while she navigates life's changes. She would want to grow with you, not away from you. The moment she tells you she has to go off and find herself alone, she is essentially saying that your presence is a distraction or a burden to her personal growth. Let's be brutally honest. This phrase is often a convenient smokescreen. It's a way for her to exit the relationship, or at least the commitment of the relationship, without having to admit she wants to see who else is out there. While you're sitting at home like a loyal soldier, waiting for her to finish her journey so you can finally be happy together, she is out living a life that doesn't involve you. She is meeting new people, exploring new vibes, and testing out other options, all while keeping you in her back pocket as a safety net. It's a polite way to sideline you. It relieves her of the crushing guilt of a standard breakup because, in her mind, she hasn't dumped you, she's just searching for her truth. She gets to keep you on standby for late-night emotional support or a quick ego boost whenever her journey gets a little too lonely. Your role in this life is not to be a full-time therapist, a life coach, or a backup singer in her one-woman show. You are a man with your own mission, your own goals, and your own limited time on this planet. Every day you spend waiting for her to figure things out is a day you are devaluing your own existence. You are essentially telling her and the world that your life doesn't start until she decides to come back. That is not high value behavior. That is benchwarmer behavior. You need to recognize the moment you've been placed on the sidelines and realize that the game is over for you in that stadium. Don't wait for her to find herself. Go out and build yourself. If she really wanted you there, she never would have asked you to step aside in the first place. 6. You deserve better. This is the ultimate nice girl rejection, and it is one of the most manipulative phrases in the dating world. It's a masterclass in shifting accountability. When she tells you that you deserve better, she is intentionally positioning herself as the martyr and you as the hero. It sounds selfless, doesn't it? It sounds like she cares so much about your happiness that she's willing to let you go so you can find a better woman. But don't be fooled by the sugarcoating. If she actually believed you deserved the best and she actually valued the man you are, she would move heaven and earth to be the woman who provides that for you. She would fix her toxic habits, she would show up with more consistency, and she would fight to keep a man of your caliber. People don't voluntarily give up something they truly believe is too good for them unless they've already decided they are done with the situation. This phrase is purely about avoiding the discomfort of a real breakup. She doesn't want to be the bad guy who broke your heart, so she frames the rejection as a gift to you. She wants to walk away with a clean conscience, telling her friends, "I just felt he deserved more than I could give." It's a cowardly way to exit without having to say, "I'm no longer interested in you." Most men make a catastrophic mistake when they hear this. Their ego gets bruised, and they immediately start bargaining. They say things like, "No, you're perfect for me," or "I don't want anyone else, I want you." Do you realize what you're doing in that moment? You are literally begging a woman for a lower standard. You are arguing with a woman who has just admitted she isn't going to treat you well. When you fight to stay with someone who says you deserve better, you're confirming to her that your self-esteem is low enough to accept the scraps she's offering. You are handing her all the power. You need to flip the script immediately to maintain your dignity. When she drops the "you deserve better" line, don't argue, don't plead, and don't try to convince her of her own worth. Instead, look her in the eye with total calm and say, "You know what? You're right. I do." And then you walk away. That is how you reclaim the frame. That is how you show her that your standards are non-negotiable and that you aren't going to settle for a woman who is already telling you she's going to fail you. A man who knows his worth doesn't need to be told he deserves better. He proves it by leaving situations that aren't top tier. 7. I need space in the raw, unfiltered language of human attraction. Space is the ultimate opposite of desire. You need to understand a fundamental truth about high-interest women. When a woman is truly into you, when she is captivated by your presence and emotionally invested in your future together, the very last thing she wants is distance. She craves closeness. She wants to be in your orbit, to hear your voice, and to feel the security of your presence. So, when she looks you in the eye or sends that dreaded text saying she needs space, you have to recognize it for exactly what it is, the soft launch of a breakup. It is a calculated move to create emotional distance without the immediate mess of a clean split. It is her way of testing the waters of life without you while keeping you on a leash just in case she decides she isn't ready to let go of your resources or attention yet. This is a high-stakes psychological test of your masculine strength. She is pulling back to see how you react to the vacuum she's created. Most men fail this test instantly and spectacularly. They feel the connection slipping away and they panic. They start chasing. They blow up her phone with 50 "Are you okay?" texts. They like all her old photos. They write long-winded paragraphs about their feelings, and they basically beg for her to come back. By doing this, you are confirming every reason she had for wanting to leave in the first place. You become the suffocating guy, the man who has no life of his own, no emotional control, and no options. You prove to her that your happiness is entirely dependent on her, and quite frankly, that is a massive turnoff that kills whatever tiny spark of attraction might have been left. If a woman asks for space, you must be man enough to give her the entire universe. Do not argue. Do not ask for a timeline. Just nod, wish her the best, and disappear completely. This is the only move that preserves your dignity. You take that newly created space and you fill it with your own greatness. You redirect every ounce of that nervous energy into your mission, your business, your gym goals, and your personal evolution. You become so busy building your own empire that you don't even have time to check if she's checked her messages. You have to realize that, more often than not, the space she's asking for is actually just a gap she's opening up to let someone else in. She's auditioning your replacement while you're sitting on the bench waiting for the coach to put you back in. Don't be that guy. A man who truly values himself doesn't chase someone who is running away. He keeps walking his own path with such intensity that he barely notices they're gone.